All right, so there was a lot going on in those last couple lessons, a lot of things moving around, and a lot of new parts added to our application. Let's slow things down a bit and let's work solely inside of this dashboard user details component. First thing I want to do is add a form where we can have an input box and we can edit the name of our user. Let's go over to the dashboard user details component. And we already have access to the user here. Let's add a semicolon to the end of that. Now let's rework our template to do a little bit more than what it does currently. We'll do a jumbotron. And let's bring this section up into the jumbotron. We'll do div class form group, which is a bootstrap class. Now here we want two-way data binding, so we're going to use the banana in a box ng model. And we'll do user.name. Give it a class of form control, which is another bootstrap class. Since we are using this ng model here, we need the forms module inside of dashboard module. So let's go over to dashboard module. We will import the forms module from Angular Forms, and then bring that into the imports. That should give us everything we need to get some two-way data binding going. We have our user details component. We can click and see each one gets updated thanks to our observable. Now let's update his name from Nick to Nicholas. And you can see two-way data binding happens in this list and straight away in this input box. Let's make sure this change took place in our entire application. We'll go over to the About page, and you can see his name is now Nicholas, which is brought over from the dashboard edit that we just made. And that is the lovable two-way data binding that we've come to know from Angular 1 working for us in Angular 2. Let's go back to the dashboard section. And the last thing we want to do here is we're going to add a save or a cancel button so that we can either save or delete these changes. And if we don't press either button and we navigate away, in the future, we're going to stop ourselves from doing that without saving or deleting those updates. Let's add that save and delete button now. Close a couple of these out and we'll go back to the dashboard user details. Let's add a new form group. And we'll do text center here. We want these buttons to be centered. And we'll do button, class of button danger, and this will be the cancel button. And also a button for a good green symbol. And that will be the save button. For each of these, we want to handle an event. So we're going to use the click event binding. And we'll give it a function here that we define in our class below. We're going to have cancel first, and the next one will be save. Let's go create those. We'll have the cancel button first. Now the cancel button won't save anything, and let's just navigate the user back to the user's homepage. Don't save, navigate to dashboard users. If we want to navigate our users, we're going to need the router. Let's go grab that from the Angular router. And then we'll bring that here. Let's clean this up a bit. Then back in our cancel method, we're going to do this.router.navigate. And we'll pass in the dashboard users. Let's make sure that works. Click cancel, and we go back to the dashboard users page. Now, right now, since we're binding to user.name, this will automatically get saved to that user object, since it's two-way data binding. Let's create a placeholder variable where we can store this information so that we can save it and apply it after the fact. instead of this.user equals user, we're going to have this.user is equal to user. And we will also have the placeholder variable that we wanted, this.editName is equal to user.name. And let's add that to the top of our class. EditName is a string. We don't need this console log anymore. Now let's create that save function. Once a user clicks save, we're going to have this.user.name equal this.editName. That way we'll apply that temporary variable to our actual user object. After that's done, let's navigate them back to the users and we'll copy this, paste that in there. The last thing we need to do is up in our form, we're using user.name here, we'll just do edit name here. Let's give that a try. So if I start typing, this two-way data binding doesn't take place yet, since we're editing an edit name variable and not the user object itself. If we click cancel, we'll go back to the user's page. And if we go back in, let's edit Nick's name to Nicholas. We'll click save, and that automatically updates his name and brings us back to the user's route. Let's go see that change in the about page. There is Nicholas, and no changes are made on Chris. That's looking good. Now we have everything we need for our dashboard section. Even though it's a very simple dashboard section, we have all of the moving parts that we want to authenticate it and also make sure that nobody can start typing and click away, since they might be able to lose their information there. This is where those Angular 2 router guards come in. We will do can activate to authenticate this dashboard section, and we'll do can deactivate to see if we can actually leave this edit form.